Granit, we can see from those celebrations, the rain's not stopping that kind of happiness there. That's a big win, isn't it?
You see the atmosphere, it's fucking unbelievable.
Sorry about the language. That's one. Carry on.
Yeah, you can see the atmosphere is unbelievable. I mean, from the start until the end, I think we deserve to win today. We was much better team today. And yeah, we are so happy that everything is going well at the moment. We are keeping everything what the coach is telling us, and these are the results.
It wasn't always pretty, but you have to grind out a result sometimes, don't you?
Listen, after the season, nobody asks you how you win in November or December or January. So we are trying to get a lot of points as possible, and after, let's see where we end.
Duels all across the pitch as well, and a little bit of scuffle at the end. As you expect that emotion in this London sort of derby?
Of course, the derby. These two teams have big history, even if they play against each other, and this is football. You need sometimes stuff like that.
And with Manchester City's late penalty, you had to respond today, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit lucky for them, but if you play over 60 minutes with one less, I think you deserve a win to win.
Let's get you inside. Well done.
There's no doubt about it, Mikel Arteta is building something special. Scott Parker is alongside us. And look, when you're a manager, of course you want wins, you want to play good football, but you also want to create this kind of almost ethereal thing that you can't grab hold of, which is a culture and a winning spirit. Did you see that today?
Oh, yes, for sure, I see that. I see a team all round, to be fair, out of possession, in possession. The fine margins of these games are, they've won a game on a set play, and you know, these are the aspects of a football match in top games that you need. This is a team at this present moment in time, we said it at the top of the show, really, a well-oiled team. A team that looks like they've got a real mentality about them as well. And, you know, these moments for Mikel will be the moments that you really try and harness a little bit as a manager. These are the moments.
How do you do that?
Well, you keep going over exactly where we are. There's nothing physically you can say. The evidence is here. We've come to Stamford Bridge. Big game. Man City have gone and got a last-minute goal yesterday to go top of the league. Chelsea coming off of a poor result last time. This is a huge game today with a lot of pressure. And you come out of this winning, that change room will be absolutely bouncing, no doubt. And I'm sure Mikel won't have to say a lot today. But leading in Monday morning, debriefing Tuesday, there'll be massive references on this, and also references to build this team up, to let them understand and let them know they've got a right chance this year, a massive chance, and they've put themselves in that through what they're creating now.
What have you got for us on the touchscreen?
I think Scott touched on it there, in that they're going to be harnessing some of the good things that they've done as a confidence builder. And I think today, as much as anything was out of possession, how good they were positionally, they were almost perfect. I'll take you through this clip here. And Mendy playing out. Yes, you can play out, but just watch the approach. Just these little details like this from Jesus there, going in there to make sure that the centre half with the ball has to go that way. Then the team can then all lock on, get onto your men, press, make sure you get against people and don't allow players at any time. And here they're in control. I talked about it before the break, controlling the opposition when they got possession. Here you see, yes, you can go that way. Look how quick he makes sure Saka there gets his head down. Cucurella has no time to look up. He gets right up against him and all the bodies in behind him. Creates mistakes, creates a little bit of lack of belief at times. And here, from this point on, it's just pure bullying. They're up against people. They're able to get in contact with people. And then they can start recycling possession. And for an opposing team against this, it's awful. It's a sea of red shirts in front of you, making sure that you can't get your head up. And then what I mean, they're getting chances off the back of this. That's the important part when you look at these things. It's not just about pressing the opposition. What happens thereafter? This is another great clip here. Again, Chelsea have decent possession, it seems, but again, the starting point, the focal point, the trigger is there. Watch the way that Jesus curves his run, but then making sure you have to go this way. Thiago Silva has to come out this way. You can't go back. And then at this point, all of the players and then locking on again. There you go, look, straight away. This is almost like a mirror image of the last clip, but I'll show you the little difference here.
Big factor as well, really. Look at the distances and how compact this team are. Whenever the ball is back with Mendy, whenever the ball is in around the back four, back three, halfway line, the distances between any group or any units of players is always 10, 15 yards. This gives you the feeling, you know, for large parts this game's played on half a pitch. for Arsenal. Much bigger, much easier to cover and give the sense of that real, yeah, this is tight in here. This is the two centre-halves for me and the 9 are a massive factor why this team this year, the two centre-halves, you can only do that with these two centre-halves because you're leaving big spaces behind you where you would know...
And that point is a great point. Look, this space here has been vacated by Mason Mount's run, and this is what he wants. They're waiting for Aubameyang to come in, but look how tight Saliba is. Saliba don't give him no space. So go on, I dare you to go in there. I'll be with you. Straight away on him. Thiago Silva makes a mistake, and then look at this, the bodies then, because of the spaces like you mentioned, there aren't many. They're there, ready to pounce, and this actually ends up being a corner, which leads to the goal.
Yeah.
So you're getting your rewards from your real aggressive and brave defensive shape.
It's roles and responsibilities, isn't it? Every player knows exactly where to be. Jesus, though, is a player that's in a lot of those clips. And you talk about, you know, a lot of talk today about Aubameyang, but Jesus, I thought today, was really leading that line brilliantly. And he does that both with the ball and without. The work rate that he has when they're not in possession of the ball, I think is a real example to all those young players. And then they switch in and they just lock the team in. Chelsea couldn't get out at times today.
Let's have a look then at the goal that came from that corner. And we can praise Arsenal all we like. What about question marks over Chelsea's defending for this corner?
Yeah, you're always disappointed massively when you can see the set play goal. Havertz, I don't know why Havertz has gone so front in that front zone. If your starting position there is quiet, it just creates that space. And at that moment, Arsenal are very good at attacking this near post space from corners and set plays. They scored a lot of goals in this area last year. And certainly this year we faced that when we was prepping it. They're really, really good at making good runs into that near post space where anything, own goals, little touches like you see there, can cause massive problems.
Havertz has got to do better there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's
just swings a lazy leg.
Probably got a little bit deeper, and then he can come onto it rather than starting high and then running back. Now he's running back, and the ball's coming back, and now he's got a lot of things to deal with. Rather than if he starts in an early position forward, he can move forward to attack the ball, and there ain't a combination of things in terms of his movement which is going to cause him a bit of an issue.
I think it's important when we talk about this game that we remember that Chelsea are at a different point in their evolution. They've obviously got loads of injuries, and we'll discuss that in a bit. But actually, from an Arsenal perspective, this should fill some of those Chelsea fans with hope that with time, with the players, bringing in players like Jesus, improving players like Saliba, allowing players like Martinelli to come into the first team, this is what you can do when you're a manager that has a project like Arteta's had.
But they've had a project and they've started from top to bottom. The hierarchy have said and outlined this is what the project looks like. This is the man we believe in. Don't forget Edu in terms of the technical director as well. All those components have been fitted together, and now there's a belief, and they've built that over time. And what I think when you're setting that project up, like Arsenal have, the hierarchy have to understand there will be bumps in the road. That's inevitable. But can you roll with those punches? Can you go through that and still maintain the belief with all the outside noises to get to this point? That's the difference.
Arsenal have bought in a manager in Mikel Arteta, and they've gone with how he wants it. This is Mikel Arteta's team. When Mikel Arteta says, I didn't want this player, I want this player. This is my game model. This is what I need. The two centre-halves are a prime example. So Mikel Arteta knows what attributes he wants at centre-half. These are the attributes I need for my team, my game model and the way I play. Now, if there's any sort of dysfunction along the organisation and someone else is buying in another centre-half, you don't get that. You know, I do think this is
the best chance of that first half. Gabriel Jesus, Michael, who we spoke about 8 games without a goal, literally inches away from ending that run.
Yeah, and he let everyone know, didn't he? He was telling everybody that it was just an inch away. I thought that it was a perfect ball. I thought he should have scored, I must admit. He breaks the offside line perfectly well, times his run. Jimmy, I know you thought he potentially could have taken a couple of steps back to actually come on at the ball, but, I mean, even so, he still gets there in plenty of time. I think that's a big, big miss.
I think he should score there, yeah. I think he's got enough time to go and get the right connection. Great play of Arsenal and opportunity missed.
What about the build-up?
Well, this is what's beautiful about Arsenal at the moment. They've done some lovely playing. It's only been the last final ball what's not been great, but when you look at the movement, the one touch, the passing, you know, it's exactly what Mikel wants, nutmeg there, and then they're out. But then when you look at this situation now, you know, we've got players getting into the box. You just want to be able to try and get it, maybe overplaying a bit more bit there. But this one was, I think this is the actual chance. It was beautiful one-touch play. And then when I get in the situation, I'm thinking, oh no, we haven't got enough men up top. But I'm looking at Jesus. That's where I want to see him, in and around the last man. When he cuts inside here, you're thinking, brilliant, bam, and he has to score. It's a situation where, you know, if he's going to be outside the box as often as I've seen him today, then when you get into this situation, then you have to at least hit the target. That's the main thing. You have to hit the target, because Arsenal, for me, on the way they play, they deserve to be at least 1 goal up.
We talked about what a big day it was for Aubameyang. Very early on in that first half, Jimmy, you were screaming with your centre-forward hat on because he got into a good position, he didn't get the ball.
He does everything right. Great cross-field ball from the goalkeeper to Sterling. Sterling plays a good ball to Havertz, and that is where you want Havertz, because he's a quality player, but he has to keep his head up. Aubameyang makes a really good movement of coming towards him and not going to the far post, yeah. So he needs to cut the ball back, and the execution is very poor, you know. And you can't say nothing about Aubameyang. You want him to make movement as he's done, you know. But the players need to find him.
I cannot believe he's not lifted his head up there. For someone of such quality, that's got great awareness.
Maybe he's on his weaker side, Mike. That's the only thing I can see, because.
But then still you're looking.
Yeah, but as a centre forward as well, what I've got a problem with it is that he doesn't look, and the ball he's trying to put in, it's not the ball.
No.
He's either cut it back or he's got to go in low. So it was just poor.
It's got to go in low regardless.
Poor execution.
We were talking about Aubameyang has only scored 1 goal, you know, so far, but he does everything right. He does everything right. He's in the middle of the goal. He stops. He checks. He only needs that yard that Haaland gets. But his players find him, where he just have to then find the corner. And, you know, that's the difference.
Yeah, and the thing is that people will talk about how many touches he's had in the games, but he's a low-touch player.
He's had 4.
4. Well, this is the thing. If you're making that kind of movement, then probably if that comes in, then he'll have had 5 touches and one of them will be in a goal. Because that's the kind of player he is. He stays away from that kind of build-up play, which is something that I quite like. But if they will find him when he makes the moves, which I've seen a few times in this game, he will get opportunities to go on and goal. But they're not finding him. Hey, Martin, how you doing? I know what you're thinking. I look amazing. I know. Can I just say, firstly, for carrying a number 8 shirt with such, like, vigour and brilliance is fantastic. I'd love to have been able to play with you. I did have Dennis, but what I'm seeing from you at the moment as our captain is unbelievable. Keep it going. I love you, Martin.
Big legend, you know, so to hear something like that from him is, yeah, big honour for me. Makes me proud. It's nice to hear that from him, so it would be nice to play with him as well, for sure.
We'll try and make it happen, see what we can do.
Yeah, he's lost his boots off, I'm sure he's still got it. Oh, yeah.
Who wouldn't want to play with him?
I love Martin Odegaard. I think that when we got him on loan, I was really worried. I think I went on record saying at the time he'd be too good for what we're trying to do. He was too good a player, especially when he'd done so well in Spain. But like he's come now, and in fact, look how quickly he's got the captain's armband. Not only his technical play, but the way he is as a man in the dressing room is just brilliant for us at the minute.